Houston, to me, yeah, I agree. I think they're going to win the South. Now, I can make a case that they won't, just because they have a tough schedule coming up. Houston's got to play Chicago. Indy plays them twice. The way Indy's playing right now, they can beat Houston.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I don't look at Miami and Indy as two teams that are just going to, one's going to be 5-3 and one's going to be 4-4, and they're just not good football teams. They are good football teams. Miami has a very underrated defense. Okay. Indianapolis, very underrated team. Who would have thought this? Now, it's not fair to me. You want to make the comparison. I know everyone wants to do it. Manning Luck.
It's going to be for the rest of his career. Manning Luck.
The biggest thing is, at this point, to me, it's not fair because they're in different stages and different situations. All right? Manning, he's going to go down, in my opinion, right now as the best quarterback to ever play the game. Andrew Luck has the potential to be better. Will he? That's left to be known. All right? But you brought up a point. Adam Schefter tweeted today earlier. Interesting that Andrew Luck in Indy, Peyton Manning in Denver, both 2,440 yards passing, and the teams are 5-3. Well, Adam kind of left out an important stat. Peyton's got 20 touchdown passes and 6 picks. Andrew Luck has 8 touchdown passes and 8 picks. That's huge. But he is a rookie. You're right. We talked about the quarterback grade of 109.5 to 79 in Manning's favor. We talked about that. You expect that from Peyton Manning. Okay? But the difference is, that's why I don't think it's fair. It's not fair to say that Manning is tons better now than Luck. Luck's a rookie. He's got a lot of room to grow. This guy is the real deal. He's going to be good.
I think the most impressive thing about Andrew Luck, one of the most impressive things about Andrew Luck is he's never satisfied. That's a characteristic, Peyton Manning characteristic, Derek Jeter characteristic, any great player that you can name in the game, we're never satisfied with their performance. Andrew Luck said after the game, it was a good win, but we have a long ways to go. I saw today on Twitter, someone tweeted that Andrew Luck graded himself a C- on how he played the game or how he's played up to this season. That shows you right there that he wants to be better. He wants to be the best in the game. Another thing is you could say, yeah, he has Reggie Wayne, but he doesn't have a lot of other superstars there. He's got his rookie tight end from Stanford. There's a little chemistry there. Not much of a running game. Colts defense is okay, but not as good as it once was.
Right.
So, for what he has to work with, being a rookie, being a first-round draft pick, I think he's lived up to his expectations and then exceeded them.
These guys are playing with an interim head coach.
That's true,
right?
too.
Yep. A lot of people are saying that could be why. Maybe they're better with Chuck Pagano. No, we're not going to go into the Chuck Pagano situation right now. Obviously, it's a terrible battle with leukemia. We know the difference there. Not saying Chuck Pagano makes them better, but it does. Playing with that interim coach, playing for a cause, definitely does help.
Yep. And
I think that's one of the reasons that the Colts are playing so strongly. That they are playing. They're playing with passion. These guys want to play for their coach. That's in the hospital getting chemotherapy. And that's to me is really puts it in perspective that the football game really is not that important. Now, backing it up a little bit, you talked about Andrew Luck, how he is never satisfied. I love that. Okay? I coached a 7th and 8th grade football team this year to a 7-0 mark. Outscoring opponents 286 to 22 on the season. All right? We never stopped working. We were never satisfied. We didn't want them to score, and we didn't want them to ever stop us. Our goal wasn't to get a first down. It wasn't to get a touchdown. Our goal was to get better every play and never be satisfied, never peak. Okay? So I like Andrew Luck like that. I also like this guy off the field. When he talks, he knows what to say. He's got the Tim Tebow in him,
Yep.
the Peyton Manning in him, to say the right thing and genuinely mean it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not doing it for the publicity.
No, absolutely right.
You talked a little bit about the schedule. All right? Let me break down the schedule for you. They beat Miami, so they're 5-3. All right? At Jacksonville, at New England, home against Buffalo, at Detroit, home against the Titans, at Houston, at KC, and at home against Houston again. 8 games left. All right? They going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they are. You say 10-6. Jacksonville is a win. New England's tough game. Not saying they can't win it, but probably not. John Brady, Bill Belichick, just unbelievable. Buffalo, I'm going to pick them to win that one. Detroit, shootout, but I'm going to give the edge to Detroit. So that's 2 wins in their next 4 games. They're going to beat Tennessee. They're going to beat Kansas City, and I'm going to say they're going to split with Houston. So that's their 5 games.
I think that's
10-6.
I think that's a safe bet. That's why I pick them 10-6. Now, at the beginning of the season, I pick them 10-6. Absolutely not. I think they're a 4 or 5 win team.
Yeah.
All right, nobody knows what Andrew Luck's going to do, and this guy is unbelievable. He really is. But that being said, things change. It's a week-to-week league. Everybody says it. Everybody knows it. It's a week-to-week league. Your opinion is going to change week by week because of the way teams play and the way teams improve. Now, they're going to beat Kansas City. They're going to beat Tennessee, Buffalo, Jacksonville. Okay?
Right.
Then they got 4 big games. 2 with Houston and at Detroit and New England. All right? I think they can split with Houston. It's hard to beat the same team twice in 1 year.
Absolutely.
Especially, we talked about that last game of the season. It's the game that Chuck Pagano is scheduled to make a return. That game on the line to make the playoffs, playing for their coach. You don't think they're going to win that game?
I think they're going to win that
One
game.
other huge thing, Houston, they rested their starters.
That's true.
That throws a
Yep.
whole other wrench into the plan. So, yeah, I think Colts fans, be happy. 10-6, you're going to make the playoffs this year, in my opinion. And this is just this year. This is the first year with Andrew Luck.
Right.
You
Right.
might have 15 more seasons.
Exactly.
Very intriguing thing to close on this. Playoffs start this week in the at Denver. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. Yep, that would be fun. Yep. And that's, that brings up another thing. Fans in Indy. You said fans in Indy should be happy. Do you think they are happy? Do you think they're happy with their decision on the way Peyton's playing and the way Andrew Luck's playing? Do you think they're happy that they gave up their pick? And
you know what? In my opinion, fans are hot and cold. Fans are going to love you when you're doing good and hate you when you're not doing good. If they come out and they struggle and they go, 2-7 over the first 9 games, or 8 games. If they were 1-7 over 8 games,
Right.
they're going to be a little hesitant. Okay, but does it matter the stats? That Peyton Manning's putting up big numbers and Andrew Luck is, but isn't, just because it's not Manning like. The team's at 5-3.
Right.
The team's 5-3.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters is the wins for a fan. So I think they feel like they made the right decision. I talked to an Indianapolis Colts fan the other day. He goes, "I'm 30 years old. I've been a Colts fan since I was 15 years old. I had 15 years with Peyton Manning, the best quarterback in the league. Guess what? Now I get 15 more with Andrew Luck."
That's
he
not
said,
bad.
he can die happy.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a good 30-year stretch of quarterbacks. All right, let's move on to more NFL. Let's preview Saints-Eagles. Monday Night Football tonight. If you see this before the kickoff tonight, get a little heads up on it. Eagles struggles, Mike Vick, Andy Reid. Big game for these guys. It's a must-win, I feel, for the Eagles.
Huge game. This is not cliche. Okay, this is huge. Andy Reid and Michael Vick are playing for their jobs, no doubt about it. All right? Andy Reid, let's not mistake ourselves. This guy will get a coaching job at some point in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, he'll be
somewhere else.
unemployed for about
he's,
5 minutes.
He's playing for his job in Philly.
Yeah.
Michael Vick, on the other hand, he's playing for his career. I really feel that way. This guy's got 9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Yeah. How many fumbles? I mean, he's got a lot
turned
of
the ball
turnovers.
over.
Yeah.
He's turning the ball over more than he's scoring.
Yeah.
And you can't have that in the NFL as a quarterback. If he's rushing, he's got 12 rushing touchdowns and 4 fumbles, I'd make that trade. He's got 1.
Right.
It's not something I'm willing to pay. Now, they talked about this week about possibly benching him. What do you feel about that? You think that's a good idea?
At this point in the season, no. They're 3-5. There's still a chance to salvage your season with a win tonight. The NFC East is down. I think just as in the AFC, wildcard team, 10-6, 11-5. There's a chance they're to salvage their season. Their schedule gets easier, so I think with a win tonight, fans rest easy and can start looking forward to maybe playoffs. But if with a loss tonight, I think then you got to start looking at making some changes.
You're never going to fire a coach to me with the stature of Andy Reid in the middle of the season.
Right.
Just because he deserves to finish the year out. It's embarrassing to be fired in the middle of the season. You know it is. Come that Black Monday, though, after Week 17 in the NFL season, I don't know. Then you have to start thinking maybe he will be fired. Now, Michael Vick, on the other hand, do you bench him? Well, you know what? If you are back in 2010, when they have Donovan McNabb on the sideline, then you maybe make that decision. Okay? They have Nick Foles, who's a rookie from Arizona.
Right. Right.
Arizona. I don't think you can bench Michael Vick for this guy. Now, is he the quarterback of the future? I don't know. I hope not, because I haven't heard enough about this guy. I don't know if he can be an NFL quarterback. Now, they thought Kevin Cobb was the quarterback of the future. How'd that work out for him?
Right.
Philadelphia, really, other than Donovan McNabb, had found a hard time finding consistency at the quarterback. Michael Vick lit it up that first year. Last year wasn't very good. This year's been even worse.
Right.
What direction are these guys going to go? All right, is it the coach's fault? If you don't have a quarterback, you don't win. I think Philadelphia needs to realize that. They have to have consistency at the quarterback. And I'm not talking about health. I'm not talking about big numbers. I'm talking about not turning the ball over.
Right, exactly. I agree 100%. Now, the Nick Foles thing is interesting because I did get a chance to see him in a couple preseason games, and just you go off the mechanics and the few snaps he got, and you got to take into consideration who he was playing against. But I think he's a kid who deserves a chance. I mean, he's football smart, like you said about Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning. He's a student of the game. He knows the game. He knows how to prepare himself. I just think he needs the chance. And this will kill any rookie quarterback or first-year starting quarterback is a terrible offensive line. And that's what you have in Philly. You have a terrible offensive line. Vic's running for his life basically every game. Not, doesn't make up for his mistakes, but, I've witnessed it as a Minnesota Vikings fan. We get some good young quarterbacks in, and they just get trounced because the offensive line cannot block. So
Absolutely.
But
it is interesting to know, though. Philly wins tonight in New Orleans. They're 4-4, a half game behind Seattle, 5-4 for a wild card spot.
Right.
The season is not over.
no, not by any means, not at all. And I think with the win tonight, Philly moves in the right direction and makes a push for the playoff.
So you're picking Philly tonight?
I'm picking Philly tonight. I'm picking Philly over the controversial stuff going on in New Orleans.
We can get to that in just a minute. I just want to throw in my 2 cents on the game. I think the Saints win the game tonight. I think the Saints win the game because Drew Brees, to me, is the best quarterback to me on big stages. This guy is not afraid of the pressure. He'll go out there and he's going to throw for 300 yards tonight, and he's going to get the ball in the end zone 3 times. That's my prediction. I think the Saints are going to win, and I think tomorrow and all next week, if you're any part of the Philadelphia Eagles organization, don't even turn it to ESPN, because they are going to be blasting Andy Reid and blasting Michael Vick all day. Now, are the Saints done? I still believe the Saints are done. This will put them at 3-5. I don't see the Saints making a playoff run. I thought Drew Brees could right the ship, but the way they played at Denver last week just did not look good to me. I think they'll win this game. The Saints are 7-0 in their last 7 Monday Night Football games. Just an interesting stat. And we saw the way they played up at Lambeau. When they were 0-3, 0-4, I got thinking, are the Saints really this bad? They're playing good football. They barely lost to the Packers. They should have beat them. They missed an easy field goal. But last week, you see them go to Denver and get absolutely trounced. Granted, it was on the road, but so was Lambeau Field. Okay? I think the Saints are done. I think they win tonight, but on the other side of it, I don't think they can make a postseason.
No, I agree 100% on the Saints being done. And here's my rant on the Saints. Drew Brees is a good quarterback. I'm not going to put him in the great quarterback stat because when I look at a great quarterback like Peyton Manning, he did it in Indy. Now he's doing it in Denver.
Okay.
He did it with 2 different coaches. Drew Brees struggled in San Diego. They didn't give him a chance because of his shoulder injury. Comes to the Saints under a good head coach in Sean Payton. They work together as a team. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick type of a team.
Or is Sean Payton a good head coach without Drew Brees? You
Well,
don't know that.
that's the point I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Is those 2 together make a great team. Those 2 without each other are not a good team.
Okay.
Drew Brees is not a good quarterback without Sean Payton, and it's yet to be seen if Sean Payton is a good head coach without Drew Brees.
This guy's still putting up numbers this year.
He's putting up numbers, but the team's not winning without that
So
Drew,
that's not
without
Drew
that
Brees.
Without that Sean Payton head coaching factor.
Okay.
There's those little things they do to win the game. Those little bit of chemistry between what Drew Brees thinks is going to work on an offensive call versus what Sean Payton thinks is going to work on an offensive call. It's just those little things that are missing in that chemistry.
There's no doubt about it that Sean Payton being gone from the Saints is hampering them, and that's the reason. I mean, you look at these guys last year; their records are the exact opposite. 2 years ago, they're 13-0 and going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean, this is definitely true. However, I don't think it's fair to sit here and say that Drew Brees, is not a great quarterback. I think he is a great quarterback. He's the top 5 quarterback in the league. He has to be just because of the numbers alone. All right, and he has a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
All right, you know how many rings Peyton Manning has? One.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line when it comes down to it. You talk about winning. Now,
Right.
do you credit the head coach? Yeah, Sean Payton deserves credit. And we're going to talk a little bit more. I know you got an interesting fact you want to bring up about Sean Payton that came out today that I think we should get into right now.
Well, yeah. Today it was brought out that Sean Payton supposedly signed a contract with the Saints to continue working for the Saints. Well, today comes out, NFL disallowed the contract because of wording. The wording was, if Sean Payton signed this contract, he had the right to leave if the general manager was to leave town. So, general manager leaves, Sean Payton doesn't like what's going on, he can leave whenever he wants. NFL didn't like that wording, so they disallowed the contract. So basically, he's a free agent coach.
And
Here's what you got.
Sean Payton is a free agent coach. He's not even coaching right now, obviously, because of the suspension. But the guy could get a job anywhere.
Well,
just because of his track record. Just
right.
because of the games he's won. But the thing is, when you go to New Orleans and you succeed, Drew Brees knows this, right? Sean Payton obviously is going to know this now. They love you. They want you there. They want Sean Payton there. He brought him a Super Bowl ring. He turned the Aints into the Saints.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yep.
But there's a lot of things, and we know up north a little ways in Dallas is one of the destinations that they think will want Sean Payton.
Dallas and Philly. I heard word on Philly. If Andy Reid's out of Philly, Sean Payton was a quarterback coach in 97 and 98 in Philadelphia. They're going to be looking to get their hands on him.
Yep.
But that's the thing, as huge as it was to win a Super Bowl in Seattle, how huge would it be to go to Dallas, where they've been struggling since the 90s, and win one there? Or go to Philadelphia, clean up things there, and win one there.
The Dallas Cowboys are America's team, no matter what you say. They're the Yankees. They're the New York Yankees of the National Football League. You love them or you hate them, and they're prevalent. Whether they're 0-16 or 16-0, there is going to be stories and issues to discuss in Big D. Sean Payton's family lives there. Just went through a tough divorce with his wife. All his kids are in Dallas.
Yep.
Like you said, good friends with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones has a pretty fat checkbook too.
Yes, he
He
does.
can make a lot of money. Jason Garrett, the terms of his contract were never disclosed, but we know he was making $3 million as an offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach. So you'd have to think he's making more than that as a head coach.
Right.
But I think that this is a very, very possible thing for the Saints, or for the Cowboys to go get Sean Payton. However, here's my question, all right? What happens with the Saints without Sean Payton? Well, exactly what you said. What's happening this year? Turmoil. Terrible, terrible season. He's a huge influence with the organization. He's not just a figurehead. They've tried Aaron Cromer. They've tried Mickey Loomis. They're trying all these guys, throwing them in there. And, Joe Vett. Mickey Loomis is the GM. Joe Vett as the interim head coach. These guys, they're not Sean Payton.
No.
Period.
No.
They're not going to coach a team to a Super Bowl. Just because, they may go somewhere else and do that, but with the guys they have in New Orleans, they're Sean Payton's guys. It's hard for a coach just to come in with these guys that someone was coaching before and win. That's why it's such a great thing what Bruce Arians is doing in Indy.
Yeah.
Because he's coming in with all of Chuck Pagano's guys and coaching them. That's very, very hard to do. And I don't see him leaving New Orleans in the end, just because I think they have a special bond with Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees' career, 5-6 more seasons maybe, however long Drew Brees plays, Dallas is always going to want Sean Payton. And if Dallas goes in a different direction from Jason Garrett after this year, who knows if that'll work. It hasn't worked very well for him in the past, so it'd be interesting.
Yep. I agree 100%. It is going to be interesting to see what happens with the Saints.
Here's what I'd like to see. I think this would be great for the NFL and great for the NFC East. Andy Reid gets fired, the next day Jerry Jones hires him.
Yeah, that'd be a good story.
That would
for sure.
cause some friction.
That would cause some friction.
The Philly-Dallas games are already exciting. Just imagine if we had Andy Reid standing over there on the Dallas sideline.
Well,
Definitely be interesting.
what would make it? Yeah. Jerry Jones loses out to Sean Payton. So he hires Andy Reid. Sean Payton goes to Philly, or Sean Payton decides to go to Philly. So Jerry Jones hires Andy Reid. That's a whole other storyline.
You're right.
We'll look forward to that. That wraps it up for the NFL. We're going to move forward with college football right after this short break.